Hi planner peeps, this is Val here at Crafts by You, and welcome to the most wonderful time of the year. It's the end of the year and we get to have a fresh new start, and this is mine. I wanted to share with you all the planner that broke the internet. That is Catherine's Common Planner from Sterling Ink, and she did a beautiful job. I'll point out some things I really love about it, but she took all the things that she didn't like about a Hobonichi cousin and took the things she did like and made her own planner. And that's the one I'm going to be using this year. It's really funny how things worked out because I didn't find out about it until after the planner launched. Essentially, she did the pre-order that, so she got all those numbers in, and then the extras she kind of spread them out so folks could get a hold of them. And it was crazy because literally in like minutes, like not even 10 minutes, it was less than that, where this thing was selling out on each of the launches. So people really were looking forward to it, and I think that's because she solved a lot of the problems that a lot of us had. So I'm going to just share some highlights. I'll link below her video where she really goes into depth into all the changes and millimeters, like everything you would want to know as far as the details of it. But we'll see what next year brings when she brings out the following. As far as the options that we had to choose from for this very initial launch, very first launch, we could either get the full year, the way sort of Astrology is, or the Wonderland 222, where you have the one book, or we could have it the way we do with Hobonichi for the A6, where you can have the year split up in 2 books. And so that's what I did, the 2 books here in mauve. Mauve was an option, or black, in either configuration, or you could configure it where if you got the two books for the year, that you could get one in mauve and one in black, or both black or both mauve. So that's what I did with this. Beautiful packaging she gave us, just super luxe. Love that. Great way to store your books for the year on the shelf. You could put something on the spine if you didn't just want the books out, but I love it. So what I'm using for my planner cover is from Magdalena. She runs Mensura Atelier, and she's out of Germany, but has a variety of planners. I'll put her link below. This is her card if you want to check that out, and her website. But yeah, she's got an Etsy store, and then she's got her website. But follow her on Instagram, and she lets us know, when she can take more orders and do them. This particular one is her clear planner. It's in the traditional B6 size, so those standard numbers. I will say, I had ordered this before I even knew anything about Catherine doing her planner, because my intention was to use this for my Stalogy or my Galen Leather Company, their notebooks in B6, which I've already used before. And so that was my intention with this. It's pretty much like a traveler's notebook, but you don't have to get it this way. If you don't want strings, you can tell her you don't. And it's got pockets in here so that if, secretarial pocket, and then just like a full window pocket here, but you can customize that as well. So she has a lot of options. I'll link her below, but I definitely love supporting small shops, and she does such high quality work, I'm telling you. And sure enough, it takes a minute to get it right. Like, you're not running in Michael's or somewhere. But she has, like I said, so many options, and it's totally worth it. You get a beautiful quality planner cover. The other planner cover I was going to use, if I hadn't gotten this one, was the one I've used before for my Stalogy, which was from Christy Tomlinson with the Planner Society. So she used to carry those, but those aren't in anymore. You definitely could find some online where folks are just selling them off. But anyway, so got my common planner in here, and the way I'm using it is really like a traveler's notebook where you just kind of run your strings into your book. I will say that the reason I went with the half year is because when those suckers start bulking up, they really bulk up. With this particular one, the one from Galen Leather, Theirs is not, I'm not using it for anything but just note taking. So it shouldn't bulk up too much, right? But I definitely needed something bigger. I've used my A6 and the A6 notebooks from Hobonichi, and literally it'll be like I'm writing down to the last page. So I figured if I went up to the B6 size, that would give me that comfortable feeling of like, okay, I can get a year's worth of notes in here. But if in fact you decide you want to do the Sterling Ink Common Planner, and you would like to use Magdalena's planner covers, you're gonna need to talk to her about the sizing if you don't want to use the strings. Just simply because, like, you can see it with this paper. These are these come from Galen leather, and they're basically lines and grids, so that if in fact you want to put this behind the paper, you know, you could see what you're doing, right? And they also give, this is a blotting leather piece that you would use if you're like using your fountain pens, or you had any slow drying pens and you just want to make sure you didn't transfer ink all over the place. But these being that B6 size, you can really see when I come back here, move my little boba people from Ebony's Moon. If you put this in here, you're still gonna probably have like essentially like a ½ an inch too small to fit the whole thing. Now, this is a similar thing that's happening in other covers that folks are using. So some people are cutting down their cover and then sticking that part in, which that works fine. I don't know that I'd want to do that. Maybe I will. I'm not sure, but as it stands, I like them with the strings. I mean, that's what I was gonna do from the first place. Anyway, so stick my little sticker back in there. This back is just a card that I got from when I went to Go Wild in Anaheim. They always put out at Go Wild these tables, and folks are swapping D-stash and stuff that, I'm saying D-stash, but nobody's buying anything. You're just sharing your extra goodies with people who are, you know, planner freaks like you. So I picked that up because the tranquility vibe is absolutely what I want. And that worked for me. And then on the front, I just took some cherry blossoms and some packaging that I love to upcycle. Anything iridescent, I'm like there for it. So love the coloration, just love it so much. I think I told you, but I don't know if I did. Magdalena, for the clear planners, she does like this natural leather, tanned leather, but she also is doing it in black. And if you want, you can have the belt that comes with it. It doesn't, to my knowledge, I guess you could make it open here, but I just slide it on and off. Maybe, you know, once the leather gets broken in some more, it, you know, will open and close really easily, but I wasn't trying to tear it up. So in the meantime, I just got my little heart lockets on here, or heart locket and a little locket on there as a charm, but you can fool around with it how you like. So let me move those out the way and just kind of get into some of the features and how I'm gonna use them, and see if that's something you're interested in too, with whatever you're using. Maybe it's you're doing the Bujo style, but these are the things I really like about this. So kind of clip these together. Postcard in here from Ebony's Moon. Thanks, girl. I've got my year right in front of me, and for this, I'm just gonna take it and kind of dot the key dates for me, big events, things that I know are coming, but I always forget what the date is, especially when you have annual things happening, and the date just shifts slightly, you know. So that's gonna be that for me. And then if I see, oh, I've got all this stuff happening in March and April, it means go deeper, right? I'm not gonna write it all on here, but just go to those pages and see what's really happening. So it's more of an alarm system for me. This is gonna kind of be like vision board, mood board, collage, just visual reminders for myself. My word for the year is structure. So I did that in vinyl, just kind of put that here, but I'm gonna fill this in some more, so I'll share that later. Got some of these little clips from Amazon. Actually, they sell them on Amazon too, like they call them page darts. These ones though, I think they're Midori, but I got them off of Jet Pens. There's like 8 in a pack, and between my planners and stuff that I use them up. But that was good, right? I do have a bunch of darts, because they give you so many of those, but I just like having them there. And then I still have tabs. I'll link these for Amazon also, but a million colorways. They're kind of an ombre, but I really like these. I'll tell you one of the things that I learned, or that kind of triggered me with these. Not triggered in a bad way, triggered in a good way. So she has this goal breakdown that's really helpful, from daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, half a year, 1 year, someday. But it's just really to get you to break all of that down. Hold on, let me stick this little sticky here. And then into the quarterly, she gives you a section for priorities. Then you have those 3 months of that quarter. And so for this section, you've also got the 3 here for Q1, and then you can kind of do your tracking. So I'll set something up for that. And down here, I'm going to add some more things that I want to track, that are not so much like a daily situation, just more of the monthly. So I'm going to put those down there. Here you have it blank. So you get Q1 and Q2, and then the second book is Q3, Q4. In this particular layout, one thing that happened was, for the weeklies that she has in here, you got the last week in December only because January 1st started on a Sunday, and this is a Monday start situation. But you don't have all of December. I would have loved all of December. That was like the only thing that I could nitpick about. So for me, for December, the monthly view, I just kind of put in appointments and that sort of thing, just to start getting a feel for it. And yes, I use pencil. Bite me. No, plans change. And sometimes, especially when you're first starting with a planner, sometimes I find myself hesitant to write in it. But when I use a pencil, it's like, well, I can erase it. And it just helps me get in the groove of getting over like that fresh book and your white page, having fear to get in there. So I do it in pencil, and usually I'll leave it in pencil, but absolutely you could start that way and then come back in pen if you like. I will say that's one of the tips I have. One of the other tips I have is really taking the last quarter of the year as time to reflect, plan for the next year. And then December really can be you stepping into that schedule. If you are making changes, if you are trying to build new habits, use December as like your playground for that. And if you're not too busy, just take time to really step into the experience, because a lot of times I get down to January and then I'm like, ready, set, go. And if I'm not on it because I haven't been building these habits or doing these routines, then I feel really anxious about that. So dealing with my anxiety, I started with the quarter before. So even though it's not complete, I'm finishing up some things this week. And if you're not subscribed, I hope you subscribe, because I'll have the final version of what I'm gonna work with up this week also. So something to think about. Another thing is that, especially like even for me, I didn't even get my whole planner thing together until December. So what was I doing the earlier parts of the quarter? I was taking time and just like a Dollar General notebook, Dollar Tree notebook, just whatever you've got that you can keep it all together. I just kind of used this to plan for things that I want to really focus on for the next year. So that would be my other tip. Grab a notebook. It served as a little miniature commonplace notebook to get me ready for my common planner. Anyhow, the way my months are going to go, though, starting in January forward, in the Hobonichi world, we had a little add-on type of a book. It was the weekly, that was a supplement is what they call it, a weekly supplement. It was a little green one. I love that sucker. It was a little bit bigger than this. It was like A6 size. This is like Passport. So it's like A6 size, a little bigger, but it had a vertical in there. And so that's really how the weeklies in here are set up. So the Hobonichi one was set up similar to this. You had a space for like your top 3 for the day. But what I ended up using it for really was to take my Bible reading and, like things I wanted to think about daily, and using that kind of as I don't want to say a tracker, but sort of. I love the vertical layout, but then I started using like printables and things in my rings. So the way I use that addendum at the end, like for the end of this year, for example, I should have grabbed it, but I didn't, was that I would put in the scripture, a daily text. I also would list out what the Bible reading I had for that week would be. And I would put in the daily text, and then my niece and another friend, we would text every day a word that we took away from that verse or from our consideration of that verse. And so it really got to be like a good, I mean, it's probably like the thing I stuck to the most for the whole year. So I definitely want to replicate that. And while I was thinking of using this for memory keeping, I have another way to do that. And so that video is going to be this week also. But so stick around. But even if it was like you wanting to do, you just building some daily habit and you wanting to, have a note of quickly seeing where you made gains. So if you're working out or if you were writing so many pages a day, like I just think that monthly view, sometimes it gets overlooked for some of us. And that, think about ways that are creative you can use it. In fact, if you have some creative ways you've been using a monthly view, let me know in the comments. I'm totally interested in seeing what other folks are doing. So got those in there. Like I said, when you get into the weekly, we had the last week in December. So I went ahead and started looking at how it would block out my time. Now, it's not exact because that last week in December for me is really busy. But when I go over to January, it gets to be where I can more so go in here and kind of lay things out. And typically, I'll kind of sort my day out according to the calendar time. And so, like, for example, a Wednesday, I'm going to do self-care. Cool. All right, that's done. But then when I get to what comes after that, it's going to be some work for me. Now, I might list more details. This is just like my first rough draft. But it's very similar to how I was using the vertical weekly. Just kind of putting big things in there, breaking it up, making sure I could see when there was actually a meeting, like this is actually a meeting for service. So those things really kind of became like, quick at a glance views, and yet I knew what I needed to do that day. So that's how I'm going to use it again. I've got to really get this stuff, squared away, but that's the goal for me. Then once you get through January to June, so the first half of the year, we get into what these tabs refer to as freely. Now, at first I'm like, what the heck? Am I in Daiso? Daiso's got you get the notebook from Daiso and it's got the weird, have a lovely, special, wonderful day. Well, it's not even that, understandable, but it's always like cute and funny. So I was like, okay, that must be another one of these things, right? Like I said, I'll link the tabs for those. But it really got me thinking, like, you're using this section freely, how you want to. Stop stressing about it being just so. So this for that page, transitioning to this section, I just kind of did some vinyl on there. Read, write, art freely. And that's how I plan to use it. A lot more writing because I am doing more reading, not just spiritually, but with other books just to help me kind of work through my traumas, art through my traumas, just kind of give my brain a break from me storing all of these things there. Like, put them out and just, get it down. So it's essentially about a page a day. And again, it's not looking that big because it's just half the year. Last page, I kind of just did a pen test. But I pretty much knew what would work. And even though I do have fountain pens, I don't typically do a lot of writing with them. Maybe that'll change, but we'll see. If I need to use another page for a pen test, I'll do it. I'm not going to be scared. That's another thing, too, I just wanted to mention, because I know a lot of folks will go to whiteout. This is straight up like a white paper. It's not like optic white, but it's white. You could use your regular correction tape, like this thing. What is the correction tape for it? Although there is cream colored correction tape out there if you're using the weeks, the Hobonichi weeks, because you do need it for that. And I think some of the other planners folks are using may have cream paper in them. In the back, just some Post-it notes, a little spot for some more, a little sticker that my friend made, Dent Head Girl is what she called her. So she's going in there. And just some stamps for, mailing stuff out. And then this, the Galen Leather B6 notebook, I'm using this just for theocratic spiritual things. And that's where this is really going to go. And these are notes, and I gotta kind of do something with this first area, but notes that I'm just taking from Bible study, from personal study, assemblies and conventions that we have. And this was when I had realized last year, no, you know what? I really need more space. So I think the B6 will make that work for me. So I'm excited about it. Just got like a little divider. I was using in my weeks that I made, and stick this in here wherever it needs to go. But yeah, that is the planner set up, and I will come back and show you more of like the extra pages kind of finished and things kind of planned out a little bit more for January. But I wanted to share this with y'all and just give you an idea of what I'm doing. Totally curious about what you're using, how you're using it. Let me know what you got going on, and yeah, I'll do all those links and get that stuff down below for you. And I will see you again this week. Talk to you later.